Okay, we are live. Hey everyone, welcome to Three Peas in a Podcast, where we are three sisters and we are on here just having conversations, discussing trendy topics, real topics, and we would like for you to join along. So I am Veronica, and then I'll let my sisters introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show this evening. I am Bo.
Happy Monday, everyone. I am EM. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Okay. And so what we do is we kind of come together and we discuss three topics that's kind of, heavy on our minds. So we just come together and we say, hey, what do you want to talk about today? And so here we are. So the first up, we will discuss Bo.
Okay.
What you talking about today, girl?
So today on my mind was current events. We are currently in a war. And I just been thinking about, everything going on with the war, and the song came to my mind, war. What is it really good for? Because it's like, is there really going to be an outcome, or is there just death involved? And if death is the only thing that we have to look forward to, what is it good for? You know, um, I know that I've heard a couple of different things regarding the reason that the war started. Uh, I have, friends that are in the military, and they were discussing that there were some things that were said between our president and the president over there, which, had something to do with them in Iran possibly having weapons of mass destruction. But it's been a long going thing that whenever we've had war, it was about the oil. So, it's kind of, an iffy or slidey, slippery situation going on there. And also, I was watching the news today and they were saying things about I think they call it harbor, but there's a straight way, pathway that's been closed. So it's going to affect America in a negative way. So
Mhm.
that's another thing that, makes me say, what is it really good for? Like, are we really going to have anything good to come out of this war? What do you guys think?
Um, well, okay, so for me, I go back to the question, war, what is it good for?
Hmm.
For me,
Hmm.
I'm going to always be on the opposing side of war because I
Hmm.
think it brings nothing but death and destruction.
Hmm.
But I do understand that sometimes it's needed.
Right.
I do believe that most times when it comes
Hmm.
to war, it's about power, greed, and money.
Right.
That's what it's about. Um, so for me, I just pray for the best on both sides. I mean, we
Hmm.
saw early on in this war where the school was
Hmm.
bombed and all
Right.
of the
That's a
children,
terrible thing.
So stuff like that weighs heavy
Hmm.
on me. I'm
Yeah.
just that type of person. So I
Hmm.
just pray for the best outcome for all
Hmm.
of us, for both
Right.
sides.
Yeah.
Again, for me, I oppose war. I don't like it. I know
Hmm.
sometimes it may be necessary, but I oppose
I
it.
know.
You know,
Right.
if wars have been happening ever since mankind,
Mhm.
Mm.
you
Ever
know,
since the Bible days,
yeah,
because there's actually.
God is a God of
Hmm.
war. So
Right.
Mhm.
there is a time when
For
you
war.
need it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So there are times that you do have to stop things when mass genocide is happening, when
Mhm.
various things are happening in countries, somebody else does have to step in. Now, I
Mhm.
don't agree that Iran needs any type of weapon where they can launch it over here at the U.S. or any of the other countries that are right around them and do harm. If you just look at how they're reacting now, you see how chaotic it is. It doesn't matter if you're part of this or not. They're launching bombs and stuff. So
But I think
if
it's
you look at how how unpredictable they are, and they're like there are no rules to engagement for them or anything. So
but
if
is
you
it
look
just
at it,
them though? Is it just them who's chaotic and who's doing sporadic?
well, I'm
Is it
saying
really
what's
just them?
happening during this, what's happening right now in this situation,
Me
because
too.
they've bombed Qatar. I mean, now as far as Israel, now you have
Mhm.
to realize why Israel was over there. It's not like
Mhm.
they went over there for nothing.
Mhm.
There were people over there that were attacking
Mhm.
there were terror attacks going on in Yemen and different things that are happening
Mhm.
that Iraq is harboring,
Mhm.
people who are trying to hurt them. So Israel is trying to protect themselves. Now,
Okay.
do I agree with the way that the U.S. entered this? Absolutely not.
Okay.
It should have been handled more diplomatically.
Mm.
It has not been handled diplomatically at
Mhm.
all.
Mhm.
So now our president has gotten us into something and asking people and our allies to help us, and they're like,
They're
no,
not. They don't want to get in it
they don't want to
because
help.
it wasn't
Yeah.
done the right way.
And I look
Yeah.
at this totally different than I probably would have years ago,
Right.
since I had a son that's in the military.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
It's one, he was over there when Israel was when he's been over there before. He's not in the military anymore. But now look at it different when you got pilots missing. Those are
Mhm.
people's
Yeah.
husbands,
That's
people's,
what I said.
sons,
That's
their
somebody's
children,
uncle,
somebody's father.
father.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's it's a terrible situation, but I don't believe it's been handled the correct way, and I don't believe there's a strategy or a plan.
Right.
Mhm.
And
Now,
that's
another thing that I was thinking about is when the war in Iraq started, there was a clear reason for them to go over there. I mean, they committed a atrocious act on our nation. So it's like we knew at that time they had to do what they had to do. I mean, we knew that they
and
declared
I may
war
have
on
said
us.
Iran instead of Iraq.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I be
I knew
getting
what you
mixed
meant.
up. Okay.
I knew
Uh,
what you meant.
Go ahead,
yeah, you
Bubba.
said Iran,
She
but
said Iraq, but we knew
oh,
what she
okay.
meant.
Well,
Mhm.
like when there was the war in Iraq, it was clear to us that we had to go. We were in a war. They
Mhm.
declared war on us. So, but then this time, like I said, I'm like I kind of know what's going on, but like I said, I've heard this, it's because of this, and I've heard that it's because of that. But I don't think we've been given any clear reason
Right.
why we're in this war.
And it
So,
leaves a lot of things open. So people
uh-huh,
start rumors and they just start
uh-huh.
saying
Right.
Yeah.
stuff. And so
Mhm.
you have to fact check everything and
Mhm.
everybody. And it
Mhm.
gets exhausting
It
because
does.
you don't know what's really true.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree. And you all seem to be more on top of this, the whole subject of war than me, because I'm the type of person I may tiptoe in there and read something, but then, like I said, my anxiety gets high and stuff starts rolling through my head.
Mhm.
If you all remember me a few months ago, I told the story about um, there was a surprise Christmas parade in our community. And all we heard
Mhm.
was a bunch of
Yeah, I
fire
remember.
truck
Mhm.
sirens, police
Mhm.
sirens. I mean, just
Mhm.
sirens. And then someone was
Mhm.
outside talking on a loudspeaker. I was like,
Mhm.
Lord,
Oh Lord, what's
they done
going
brought the
on?
war home
Mhm.
right to the front door. They
Mhm.
done brought
Yeah.
it. So
Mhm.
I,
Yeah.
I tiptoe in and I
Right.
read a little bit, but my anxiety is on high. And again,
Mhm.
I'm a peaceful person. Now
Yeah.
I understand that, like I said, we need it sometimes, but I just
Mhm.
wish that I wish we would see a world where we did not have to have war, which I
Mhm.
know that most likely will never happen, but I
Right.
wish we could.
Yeah. But well, my fiance is
Mhm.
a veteran, so he
Mhm.
actually fought in Iraq. So
Mhm.
he's on the opposing side regarding the war being started. He feels that the president did the right thing. He says
Mhm.
that because of President Putin, I believe that's his name.
Vladimir Putin, Russia.
The
Mhm.
way he explains it is our president told Putin to leave Israel alone. And then Putin says to our president, if I'm saying the correct name, Putin, I believe that's his name, says to our president, well, I got weapons too, as if, I got
Well,
weapons and I
Putin
will
is
blow.
Russia.
Okay, well,
Putin is
if it's
Russia.
not Putin, it's whoever the
But
president was that's now
in
dead.
Iran? Okay.
He's
Okay.
now deceased.
Okay.
Well, he said, well, I have, weapons too. And I don't know if he said I have weapons of mass destruction, but it was kind of
Mhm.
like, what you gonna do?
Mhm. Mhm.
I got weapons too. So it was like a threat to us, and I'm
Mhm.
not military and I'm not
Right.
a war person myself,
Mhm.
but I do, when I hear about lives being lost and stuff, it does
Mhm.
get my attention. I
Mhm.
want to know what happened and I want to know what's going on,
Mhm.
so that it's been something on my mind and I've been following it,
Mm.
just trying to be more educated for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't follow that much because I don't want to be
Mhm.
scared. I'm just gonna be honest.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Well, the
mean,
Bible says
I've
God
had
I
doesn't
I
give
had a
know.
us a
dream
spirit of
like
fear.
a couple of years ago where
Mhm,
people were just coming into the houses and
mhm.
just basically taking everybody out of
Yeah,
the
see,
houses
and
and
see
stuff.
that type of
And
stuff. I don't. Yeah.
but I have no control over the
Right.
fact that I
Right. I
had
know.
that dream, so
Right. But that's the
it,
type of stuff that goes through my mind if I let it
mhm.
slip in. Yeah.
Right. So, and ever since then, it
Mhm.
kind of perked my
Yeah.
interest when stuff
Yeah.
like that is going on.
Okay.
You know.
The thing with the war right now is people need to prepare because
Mhm.
there's things happening with the gasoline. They're going
Mhm.
to introduce this new, what is it, E15, this new gasoline.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
people need to realize that that's junk gas. Don't put that in your car. It's going to tear it
Mhm.
up.
Right.
Even though it's going to be a little bit cheaper, an
Mhm.
engine going to cost more.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
don't put any new type of product they're putting out for
Mhm.
gasoline. Plus, I feel like they're already doing something with the gasoline because it's not
Mhm.
lasting as long.
Mhm.
So, and then
Mhm.
if you notice, when I went to the gas station a few days ago, I didn't really smell gas like I smell
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
It didn't
you
have that
don't.
strong smell.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
said, they've already manipulated or
Mhm.
changed this gasoline.
Mhm. Yeah, and you don't
Also,
smell it. You don't smell it
yeah,
like
it
that
doesn't smell
anymore.
like it used to.
Mm-mm.
You also want to make sure you have things in your home that you need,
Mhm.
because with the Strait of Hormuz, or however you say it, being
Right.
blocked,
Mhm.
some
Right.
things won't get in. Some things may
Mhm.
not flow. So you want to make
Mhm.
sure that that you have plenty of water. You want to make sure you
Mhm.
have, non-perishable foods because
Right.
that I don't think people realize the impact
Mhm.
that could have on the flow of
Mhm.
supply chain,
Yeah.
not just
Mhm.
oil.
Yeah.
Because you need fuel, like we
Mhm.
have a truck on the road, you need
Mhm.
fuel to make that truck go.
That's right.
Right.
So
Mhm.
just us little companies,
Mhm.
if it comes down to it, the big guys, they're the ones that's going to get the fuel, the big semis, not
Yeah,
those small box truck
because
companies.
they're the ones that's
But
keeping everything going.
right, but the
Mhm.
small companies, the less than a truckload companies also help fill in the
Mhm.
gaps
Mhm.
and get
Mhm.
in places where big semis can't get to.
Mhm.
So there possibly could be some shortages. So people need to be ready, have your water, have your things you need, have some
Mhm.
extra formula for your baby,
Mhm.
have some non-perishable things. And even when it comes to energy, everybody just needs to be aware and be
Mhm.
prepared just
Right.
in case until
Yeah.
this is over.
That's good information. Very good
Well,
information.
I thought they were in talks just last
Girl,
week,
they
weren't
have
they?
But
said
it
they've been in
switched up.
talks
You don't
multiple times.
follow it. See, so
Right.
you're not. But it
Mhm.
just switched up last night, like
Yeah,
within a day. This just
yeah.
Yeah, because I
happened.
did see where our
Hmm.
our person in
Hmm.
office, was making some really horrible, saying some stuff
Yeah.
that what's going to happen and all that. Yeah.
Mhm. But
Yeah.
them closing her Mars, or that
Yeah.
That's
happened
Yeah.
true.
just last night, and they said that, like Em was saying, it is going to affect our
Mhm.
supply
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
supply chain.
heavily. Hmm.
Yeah, so even, gasoline and fuel, looking at fuel right now, diesel being over $5, some places
Hmm.
$8 a gallon. That's what
Hmm.
our big trucks and semis run off of.
Hmm.
So you
Yeah.
think about that, that's going to cause the cost of our goods to go up.
Yeah.
And then it's
Mhm.
going to limit it. It's even going to put a strain on big trucking companies
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
you have to pay for that. So those
Yeah.
those are all things people just need to be aware and
Yeah.
prepare and look at their
Everything is going
and
to
look
be
at what they
affected
what they need.
if they don't come to
I
some kind
hope
of
that this is
agreement.
over
Right.
soon, but I believe that we are underestimating the
Hmm.
people over there.
Yeah.
Just like they shot that plane down and they
Right.
were not
Yeah,
expecting
that's
that.
another thing.
And I'm so
We were
grateful that
told
the
that
other
they didn't
pilot
have
got caught.
weapons that could
Right.
do things like that. That's
But
what our president was
yeah,
saying. They didn't have weapons to shoot planes down,
right.
and they done it. I
Yeah.
think they've shot two of them down now.
But
Well,
I believe that the
I'm
US is
also praying
underestimating.
that somehow, some way, we
Hmm.
get some intelligent people
Hmm.
in there to
Right.
help guide the
That's right.
person that's leading us now,
Right.
because I think this person surrounds themselves with yes men and
Right.
people who are afraid to tell him no,
Hmm.
or to tell him what's wrong and what's right. And when it comes to stuff like this, you can't have yes men and women,
Hmm.
and you can't have people who are scared, who are afraid to tell you what's wrong and what's right. So,
Right. Nothing is
my
operating
prayer is
like
that
it
they get the
should.
people in there.
There are things and controls set in place in the government so that a president cannot do
Right.
something like this.
Okay,
Yeah.
And he has
but
managed to
he
bypass everything, which
exactly
does
Mhm.
not make any sense.
Mhm.
right.
Now,
So
I was under the understanding that when it comes to the military,
mhm.
there is someone over the military who can say, this give him, advice
Right.
on
That's
this is
HEXA.
what we
Yeah.
need to do.
Hmm.
So, so I don't think that he is able to make, every call that he
doesn't
wants
he
to make.
appoint that person too? Like, didn't
That's
he?
HEXA. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
he appointed.
member.
He got rid of the people over the and brought in his own people.
Yeah, but no,
So
I'm talking about the people over the military. There
oh,
is ranks in the military,
Oh yeah.
that can say, "Oh,
okay,
this will be dangerous. There's no way we could do
Well,
this."
I seen something this week,
mhm,
but I didn't read it
Mhm,
about the military pushing back and some
mhm.
of
okay,
them not following orders.
good,
Yeah,
And I
good.
saw
yeah,
something
They
about
need
that.
to. Okay.
they do.
So,
Yeah,
but
Okay.
anyway, but that's a heavy subject. But people
it
need
is.
to
Yeah,
It's
pray
very
for
it
them.
heavy.
is,
Mhm.
and I'm
I
glad
didn't think
we
it was
did
going
that
to
one
get as
first.
heavy as it did because originally we were talking about victory
Yeah,
versus just pulling out.
yeah,
So
and
yeah,
I
so it
don't
went
think
further
we.
than we had originally planned
Yeah,
for it
but
to go.
it's a good conversation,
Hmm.
and just to to say my final piece, and I don't think
Hmm.
there's victory in any war.
Right. Hmm.
That's just my position
Right.
on it.
Mhm.
Did you all want to say anything else before we move to the next topic?
No, I mean, we just need to pray for the nations of the world.
Yeah.
The Bible says, pray for Israel.
Mhm.
I pray for the United States. I pray for Israel,
Mhm.
and I pray for Iran.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to see anyone lose lives, but I know
Yeah.
that this is something that happens in war.
Yeah.
Hmm.
EM.
No, I mean, like I said, war has been happening since the beginning of the time. Of
Hmm.
time,
Yeah,
it's going to continue to happen. The Bible
it
tells you
is.
in the last days you'll hear war. There'll be
Wars and
wars and
rumors of
rumors of
wars.
war. So it's
Hmm.
not going to stop. It's going to
Right.
continue. We can pray and we can pray, but there is already a plan that's already been laid out before
Hmm.
us, and it's going to
Mhm.
come to pass. No
Hmm.
matter how much we pray, it's going to come to pass. But God said He'd never forsake us, He'd never leave us, and He'd
Right.
always be with
But
us.
we have
And
loved
He
ones
didn't
like
give
you,
us
like our
Right.
nephew,
and
your
He doesn't give us
son.
a spirit of fear.
We don't
So,
want
He's
him
our
to be
protection.
in that,
Right.
like,
He's our
and
protection.
not only that, when it comes to drafting people, you never know. We
Mhm.
have young men in our family,
Yeah.
that we don't want to see drafted. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Okay. Well, this was a good
I heard
conversation.
though also before, I know you wanted to go to the next step, but
Mhm.
I've been hearing that they've lifted the age for being drafted to 42. Have you all heard that?
I did hear something about that.
I've heard
Yeah.
something. I did hear something
Uh-huh.
like that.
And that's like, wow, how
Yeah.
dare they?
Child,
But
these
yeah.
42-year-olds ain't ready. When we talk about my
Mm-mm.
subject, they ain't ready.
Mm,
They
mm-hmm.
ain't gonna be fit enough to go nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Well, this was a good
Mm-hmm.
conversation, heavy but a good conversation,
Mm-hmm.
ladies. Okay, so now we'll move on into the next one, and it's my topic. And so my topic, I called it when sacred becomes seasonal. I said we've lost the meaning of Christian holidays, and I say that because we just came through Resurrection Sunday,
Resurrection Sunday.
and I just it bothers me, and I don't know why it bothers me. Well, I guess
Mm-hmm.
I do know why it bothers me when I
Mm-hmm.
see. And we used to do the Easter eggs and stuff. I don't think we
Mm-hmm.
did Easter bunnies and stuff, but we did Easter eggs. But it bothered me when I just, saw, see the big fluffy Easter bunnies and the Easter eggs and people saying happy Easter. And, it's
Mm-hmm.
just all about this big Easter bunny and colorful
Right.
eggs and candy and stuff. And now that I've gotten older, I don't know. It bothers me to
It
see that.
dilutes the
Yeah,
meaning.
I fit. And then even with Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. People do, when it comes to Christmas, they're doing different themes of Christmas and,
Mm-hmm.
themes to fit into.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have to choose my words wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll just say different themes for
Mm-hmm.
Christmas. And I don't,
Yeah.
and I guess for me, it bothers me because when it comes to other religions,
Mm-hmm.
they're still held as sacred
They
and to
stick to
high
the
regards.
script.
And I just don't know why
Mm-hmm.
with Christianity, why our
Everything
holidays
has to
that,
be so
these are sacred
cliche.
holidays, and, why
Right.
have they, like you said, diluted them so much, and,
Mhm.
turning them into, own personal, I don't know. What do you all think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I feel that, you know, Santa Claus, I know you said you have to
Yeah.
choose your words wisely, but the little jolly elves, and
Mm-hmm.
the little trolls, and
And
like,
the Grinch
where did
is
the
so
trolls come from?
popular when
Yeah,
it
the
comes to
Grinch.
Christmas. The
Yeah.
Grinch
You
is
know,
so popular.
yeah, it takes away the true meaning. I mean, I think
Mhm.
people should really, talk to their children and let them know, Jesus was born.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
was born in a manger. Did you know
Mhm.
that? Did you know that there was nowhere for them to even lay him? Did you know
And I
that?
know,
Just
yeah.
the true
I know
meaning.
not everybody celebrates Christian, because
Mhm.
someone may come back and say, "Well, I'm atheist," well, I'm not. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say not
Mhm.
celebrate Christmas. We may have someone come back and say, "Well, I'm atheist. I'm not a Christian, so I can." Well, then why even
This
bother
doesn't
to
concern you.
celebrate?
Right.
But no, yeah, it
Right.
does, because they're saying that they can celebrate it how they want to.
Right.
But if you
But
Mhm.
are an
I think
atheist, why even bother?
that you have to realize that these are really all pagan holidays.
I
So we
understand that.
call them
Yeah,
Christian,
right. I understand. Mm-hmm.
but many of them are derived. The
Right.
dates,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mhm.
timing are
Mm-hmm.
derived from things like the winter solstice.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the same. So where do you get the evergreen tree from? The
Mm-hmm.
winter
Mhm.
solstice, decorating the tree and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have to realize that those holidays, what has happened is we celebrate them as part of our faith and to
Mm-hmm.
recognize the birth of
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, because we don't know when he was born. We just know the
Right.
time of year.
Right.
And but what has happened is we've chose those time frames around those same pagan holidays when they so
Mhm.
it's kind of all intertwined now.
Mhm.
So the holidays don't have the same weight and the same meaning as they used to, because we've let too many of those
Mhm.
things, we commingle them.
Filtrate.
And the
And
Mhm.
we
Bible says, keep the clean from the
Right.
unclean. So
That's
we've
right.
let
Mhm.
all these things come in. So, because remember, we were not able to
Yeah.
have a Christmas tree.
I remember that.
Mhm.
I
We didn't
remember
get a
that.
Christmas tree till we went to Minnesota.
Got a little
But
bit older.
where we came from, there were no
Y'all
Christmas trees.
be remembering stuff, child.
Yeah, Bishop
I
Overton
mean,
got us our first Christmas
yeah,
tree. And
yeah.
I remember
I,
it was
Okay.
silver.
I,
It was
I mean,
white.
I'm not old enough to remember when we didn't have a tree, but I do
Mhm.
remember it being a household subject that,
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
do we need a tree or do we not get a tree?
Mhm.
Because mom believed a certain way. But then, dad was always the one who wanted us to have the benefits of
Mhm.
experiencing,
Well,
what other children were
Bishop
experiencing.
Overton, he came
Mhm.
over to the
Yeah, I
house and
remember.
he
Mhm.
brought us a tree. And I
Mhm.
can't remember, it was white or silver, and he
Mhm.
explained to our parents that
Yeah,
you don't worship the tree. The
right.
Mhm.
problem is that certain people worship the tree. We
Mhm.
don't
Mhm.
worship the tree. It's just a
Right.
symbol of the holiday
Right.
season or whatever. And the
Mhm.
tree
Mhm.
doesn't have anything to do with Jesus Christ. It's just
Right.
a
Mhm.
decoration for the season.
Right. Mhm.
Mhm.
But that was something that
Mhm.
we used to not have. Grandma Mabel, I don't know if she ever had a tree in her house. I
Mhm.
don't remember our
I don't
other
remember.
grandmother
Yeah, I
ever
don't
had.
remember. I don't remember
But
grandparents
after
having a
mom
tree.
put that tree up, she put one up every year.
Right, right.
Mhm.
After he explained it,
Mhm.
then we did have a tree. But
Mhm.
the thing about it is it's everything is commercialized now. It's all about
Mhm.
money.
Right.
That's
Mhm.
what it's all about.
Mhm.
It's all about money. It's about
Mhm.
consumerism, getting people in those stores,
Spending
getting
money.
this
Yeah,
money back
that's
in the
right.
black. That's what
That's
it's
true.
about.
Mhm.
That is so true.
Mhm.
And I mean, I know even this little guy who used to do my nails, and he was from Vietnam. He did not believe, he wasn't a believer or
Mhm.
anything like that, but he loved Christmas time.
Oh,
That was
Mhm.
his
really?
favorite time of the year. And,
Mhm.
It's
it was
mine
nothing
too.
about Christ. He just liked the way it felt,
Right.
liked the gifts, he liked the
Yeah.
Mhm.
decorations, he liked everything, the way it made you feel, but he did
Yeah.
not believe in or honor
Mhm.
it with the meaning.
Right. Mhm. And
Even with all of that, there is just something magical about
Mm,
that time of year. And I
Mhm.
think it's because of the birth of
right.
Jesus.
Mhm.
I really believe
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
it's because of his birth. Something just seems magical about that time of the year. And
Mhm.
it does make you feel good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So do you all think maybe with Christians, and I'm probably you know, one in a million thinking like this, do you all think that, maybe there should be another day reserved for our Christmas? But I guess it'll always be called Christmas.
Mhm.
I mean, I think, and anytime I say Christmas, in my mind, I'm saying Christmas, because that's
Yeah.
really what it's about.
Mhm.
But I don't know, reserve another day so that we could really celebrate it. How it's supposed to be
Mhm.
celebrated. Because I also remember, like, for Christmas, we would go to church on Christmas Day
Right.
when we
And
would
have
say our
those
Christmas
speeches and
speeches.
stuff.
It didn't matter
Yeah.
what day Christmas fell on.
Right.
I looked forward to going to church. That was
Mhm.
one of the highlights for me. Going to church on
Yeah,
Christmas,
absolutely.
saying our
And
Christmas
the speeches, yeah, the
our
speeches were
Christmas
something
speeches and stuff.
embedded in us to tell us,
Yep.
so that we were teaching everyone
hmm
else what Christmas
Yeah.
is really about. So,
hmm
I don't know if they do that anymore. I
hmm
mean,
Yeah.
But we still have speeches. We just don't
Yeah,
have
yeah, and
permanent
I
kids at our
have
church.
some friends who do.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I missed that, and I
Mhm.
remember we didn't open any gifts until we came. We didn't open any gifts. I don't recall, and I could be wrong. Before we went to church, maybe we did, but
Mhm.
church was one of the highlights for me.
Mhm.
Um, so, and
Yeah.
we learned about the real true meaning of Christmas. So,
Mhm.
and
Well,
maybe, I'm just telling my age, because there was a time where it was, we've all,
Mhm.
we were once
right.
young. There was a time when we looked
We are
forward to the
older
gifts.
now,
And
so.
yeah.
But you said the same for Resurrection Sunday. They
Mhm.
paganized that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. And it's
Mhm.
just,
It's
Mhm.
just, and I was telling my husband earlier, I said it really saddens me to look online and see all the
Mhm.
memes and the people make
Mhm.
fun of this is what your church
Easter
parking
bunnies and
lot
all
looks
that.
like,
Mhm.
or people
mhm.
getting ready to go to church and they singing church songs and too little Easter clothes, and it's the one
Mhm.
time a year,
Yeah.
and I just
Mhm.
feel like
They
that
just make a
that's
mockery of it.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
And
and I don't like that. I don't like
and
that.
dare I say, with our holidays, to me, I don't know, it's almost, some of the stuff you see, the word I use is perversion. It's almost like,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it
and I
is.
don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And the things that we should take serious, we don't take
Mhm.
serious.
Yeah.
Right.
And the things that, should be taken more lightly are not.
Mhm. Right.
Right.
So, the your purpose in your life and the things you do
Mhm.
and the way you raise your family, the things that you instill in your family, your,
Mhm.
your legacy, all those things should be important to you.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
seeing two grown people with children online making fun of going to church on Easter, coming out their garage singing, a church song in flip flops, a suit, and
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
two little
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah.
That's
It's
People
not even
like,
just will do
funny.
anything
yeah,
for a like, anything
yeah.
for a,
And I'm just like, I don't know. Everybody I'm sure who listens to this is not a believer, but
Mhm.
um if you are a believer, then you know
Mhm.
that at some point you're going to stand before God.
That's right.
Mhm.
And you
Be
are going to
answered.
be we are going to be accountable for
That's
what we
right.
did in this body.
Mhm.
And, a lot of people who say they're saved, I just wonder, because there are some things that I just will not do because I fear God and I have a
Mhm.
healthy fear of God and who He
Yeah.
is.
Amen.
And I just
Mhm.
don't think that people have that, and they
They
don't
don't.
believe in His
It'd be
sovereignty and who He
names.
is. Because if He doesn't give us the next breath, we can't breathe.
That's right.
Right.
So I that's why a lot of times when people say they're believers and I see their behavior, I just really am like, I'm not sure. Because
Mhm.
if you believe God is really who He is, you would reverence Him and respect what
That's
He
right.
Mhm.
That is the
Mhm.
truth. But like you said on the first show, everybody's in different places in their walk.
Right.
People are babes before,
Mhm. But the
so
fear of God is taught early. But
yeah,
Right.
but
it
if you've
is.
never been raised
Mhm.
in church and stuff, it's
Right.
different.
Yeah.
And but still, I get
Mhm.
you come into the knowledge of who He is. But
Mhm.
what I'm talking about is people who's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. Who've
Yeah.
been
A lot of
I'm
supposed
the
to
talking
be.
Christian,
about
yeah, I know
babes in
exactly who
Christ.
you're
I'm
talking about.
talking
Yeah.
about,
I
yeah.
get
And
it.
even like for me, even just like the respect for the church house, to me, the
Mhm.
church house is a sacred place.
It
The
Right.
is.
pulpit it should be a sacred
Right.
place. And
Mhm.
like, so I remember when I had either last year, I believe it was beginning of last year,
Mhm.
where I had jury duty. And the way they treated that courtroom, I mean, you can, do whatever, not whatever you want, but outside of the courtroom, you could be on your phone, you could chew gum. But when you enter that courtroom, they told us there was a certain way we had to dress.
Yeah.
No chewing gum. You could not have your phone on, bring it in there, for more obvious reasons than one.
Right.
People whispered, and I mean, it was just a whole, to me, and I thought to myself, I said, this is how church used to be. This is kind of how we used to treat the sanctuary, because you all remember, like in the hallways of the church and stuff, there'd be a little running around and playing, and in the back rooms.
And even then, they would, if you get too loud, the ushers are going to come out there and let you know you're making too much noise.
Right. But for surely when you enter that sanctuary,
absolutely.
Yeah, it was a different
You respect, the sanctuary.
And so I'm thinking, okay, now they can have all this respect for the courthouse, which you should, but I'm like, like I said, it just made me think this is how church used to be.
That's how it should be,
to EM's point, the way people are acting to, Bo, to your point, it's, I don't know. And I don't know where we as Christians have dropped, are we the ones who dropped the ball? But I guess that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But this was a good conversation. I appreciate you all engaging with me.
We're about to take it way over.
Right. So anyways, so we'll move on to our third topic, EM.
So wanted to see what everybody's doing about their health and getting their bodies moving. So you have all kinds of things going on. You got people wearing these waist trainers, which I heard that's a farce.
Really?
You got, everybody trying to eat all the protein they can eat, but now being told that, well, I'll talk about that in a minute, but just, then you got the fad workouts and people go work out for 10 days and you're going to have your summer body. But, just, what are, people, what are you doing to keep your body moving? Because, as you know, as we age, women, especially once you hit about 50, you lose a ton of muscle. And, at that point, you really need to start before you get 50, but building that muscle back. But that muscle helps you balance yourself. It helps you, as you know, a lot of older people, one of the main reasons they pass or they become immobile is they fall. And they fall because, they're weak and they don't. Case in point, we have an uncle that happened to. He had a fall. And after that, he never really recovered. And that happens a lot of times. So it's important to have a discipline and not fad, because it's like so many fads and trending. I opened my TikTok and I got all these girls on there in them waist trainers. All those sweatsuits and all that stuff. But it's important. What, right?
Let me say something about the waist trainer. I believe there's a little bit
you going to church putting the finger.
Because do you all remember, we were raised in a household where we wouldn't go and jiggle. So we wore what they call, back then, I'm going to just be real, we called them girdles, long line bras and girdles. Mama kept me in one, I remember.
I'm so glad I got delivered from that long line.
But I feel like that long line bra helped to mold me and make my waist smaller. And to me, that's pretty much what those waist trainers are.
But then your breasts look like two little footballs.
No, I feel like my waist.
And the long line bras used to be pointy.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, like two little cones. Yeah, they did. No, but I'm just talking about over time.
Right.
That long line
and you have a small waist. I've always, your waist was always.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I wore one, I don't think that's the case. It didn't do that for me.
Well, I think it did for me.
No, but I just
well, Veronica's never had any children, so could be.
But still, I also, the body composition is different.
Okay.
So that's another thing. Neither of us have the same body composition.
Right.
So you can be built a certain way just naturally. So but I was just I keep seeing it come through my timeline. I'm like, and I remember people would tell me when I was younger, you need to get the weight off now. why you
Mhm.
can, you know, and I
Mhm.
understand now why they were saying it.
Mhm.
But what
Yeah.
they really is, but what they really should have said is build a discipline now.
Yeah.
Learn to eat
Yeah.
right now.
Learn eat
You
healthy
know,
habits.
right.
Yeah.
Exercise, keep
Mhm.
moving your body, things like that,
Mhm.
instead of
Right.
saying, you need to
Yeah.
stop doing this. You look good, fat.
Yeah.
Just don't get no fatter. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
stuff,
Don't
you
go
know,
past a 14. Don't go. That
yeah,
was
Mhm.
magic number right there.
Mhm.
Don't.
things your family say, girl, you
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
fat. Don't get no fatter. You know, stuff like that.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
unfortunately,
Yeah. They
culturally, you hear that
they
stuff
just
too
had
much.
what do they call it, no chill back
You got
then.
big
Right.
old big old pretty
Mhm.
legs, but you
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
lose some of that's a
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I am at the point where I do lifting. I hate cardio, but I know it's good for my health, so
Mhm.
I gotta do some more cardio. So
Mhm.
my what I'm doing is I understand now, and something clicked in my head, and actually it was Griff on the morning
Mhm.
show. He said something, and when he said I had been going to the gym about 2 months, but he said his son was a weightlifter, but he said, no, my son is a bodybuilder. He's
Mhm.
a bodybuilder. And I thought about that thing. And there were some things I wanted to change about my composition of my body and stuff. And I
Mhm.
said, okay, I need to build the body I want.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I started looking at exercises because I've never had no hips. How do you get that right? You
Mhm.
know, but then I have these huge thighs. How
Mhm.
do you get rid of these thighs? You know, so different things that I'm
Yeah.
doing to make it's making me healthier. And
Mhm.
I haven't lost, I mean, I've lost 20 pounds. I haven't got to my first
That's
goal
still
yet,
good though.
but
That
I'm
that's that
still,
deserves a congratulations. And you done
thanks.
it on your own.
Yeah, but I'm still trying
Because you know
to,
we all well endowed in our family.
yeah,
So
yeah, but I'm still trying to get down another
Mhm.
40 pounds.
Mhm.
But it also made me think about and this is another topic for us to talk about the BBLs and stuff,
Mhm.
Mhm.
because that's another terrible fad. And I don't know what's going to happen to all these young women doing this to
Yeah,
their
I
bodies
know.
when
I
they
think
get a
about that
certain
too.
age.
I do. I think
Yeah.
about that
So
too.
some cosmetic surgery is medically necessary.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, I've had something done. It was medically necessary,
Mhm.
but I didn't
Mhm.
add nothing to myself.
Right.
I had to have
Mhm.
Mhm.
something taken away. But just having all these foreign substances in your body and stuff.
Mhm.
But just if I believe we can build the discipline you
Mhm.
can work out at home. You don't have to go to a gym.
Yeah,
You can
that's what
do
I do.
weights at home. You can have some free weights at home. You
Mhm.
can use your body weight.
Yeah,
But just encouraging people to start
doing
now.
something. Mhm.
As Black
Even if
women,
you
we are
walking in place.
we have heart disease. The rate of heart disease in Black women is very high,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and we need to exercise and learn to eat right and just give our body the nutrition it needs. Unfortunately, a lot of things we've been raised on
It's
is
not.
not
Yeah.
what is
Mhm.
not nutritious. It's
Yeah.
not.
Mhm.
It's not even food.
Right.
So just
Mhm.
wanted to encourage people to get out there and work on your health. Even if it's nothing but walking, start there. Walking does not build a ton of muscle, but it will help. But
Yeah,
it'll help. Walking will
it gets you
eventually
moving.
help you with your
Mhm.
stamina too,
Yeah,
to lift weights.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
even if it's just 10-pound weights, just something, just work on it now,
Mhm.
because your health is
Older you
your
get,
wealth.
the harder it
Mhm.
is to, start getting where you want to be. It's
Mm, yeah.
So
no time's
weight
better
for
than now.
me, you all know weight for me has been something. I say I don't know if it's when I got in junior high or high schools when I started struggling with weight, because I remember when I was a little girl, I remember one of she was more than our neighbor. We called her our godmom, Barb, used to
Mhm.
always talk about how skinny I was, but
Yeah,
she was
when
like, "You
you
keep eating like
but
that,
you'd
you're gonna get."
always say, "I'm hungry, mom, I'm
Yeah,
hungry." That's what she used
she's
to
always saying,
say.
"Mama, I'm hungry." That's what she used to say. I used to
Mhm.
always say, but I was,
Just a
thin.
toothpick then.
Yeah, but then like I said, I don't, I can't really, pinpoint when the weight
When,
came on, but I feel like it's been a struggle of mine,
mhm.
pretty much all my life. So
I
you
think
all
it
know
has to
some
do
of what.
with the food.
Mhm.
too,
Yeah.
because I feel like when we moved to Minnesota and certain things changed, we ate a little more processed stuff.
Yeah.
When we were in Mississippi and when Mama was not working, we had more whole foods. And
Mhm.
Mama used to
Vegetables
cook all
and
the
stuff.
time.
Yeah.
We didn't
Mhm.
get golden chicken and pizza and stuff.
Yeah.
When those things changed and those things got introduced, you
Mhm.
know, and the soda, you know,
Mhm.
having that, you know, so it's
Mhm.
different things that happen because we were not sedentary children.
Right.
Yeah. No, we
So
were not.
we were not. So it
We did
had
a
to
lot of
do with
biking
the
and
food.
playing outside, playing
Right.
It had to do with the food. And they say
And
that type of food is addicting, and I believe it is.
mhm,
Now, I
yeah,
was never
chips
really a
and all
huge
that.
pop drinker, but I did, you know, I'm a snacker. I love
Mhm.
to snack, but even like when, you know, when you mentioned golden chicken and stuff, there was a time I remember I worked for Target in high school, and I would come home late and order some of that golden chicken, and I
Mhm.
would order like a few pieces of chicken and a burger. I mean, I was just
Mhm.
and so you all know,
Mhm.
you all know, have seen my weight loss journey and, you know, over the
Mhm.
years.
Yeah, and you've
Um,
done very well as well.
yeah, I
God
won't, you
bless.
know, indulge in everything, but I will say, you know, just bring to current. Once I hit them 50s and perimenopause, the things I used to do, because I don't mind
Mhm.
getting out walking. As a matter of fact, I love being in the gym. I love, you know, working out.
Mhm.
I bought a bike last summer. You know, I love doing stuff like that. But once I hit that perimenopause in them 50s, that weight would not budge.
Right.
I mean, and
And
it didn't matter how much, I mean, how little I was weak,
right.
it just didn't budge. So,
Right,
you know,
because it
just,
has to do more with the hormones and stuff.
yeah.
So for me, I can't eat bread. I can't eat
Mm-hmm.
white rice. I
Right.
can't eat none of that. So my diet is low carb. So that
Okay.
is the only way I was, because my stomach was looking like I was 6 months pregnant.
Mm-mm.
So and it's also the cortisol, all that, the stress and different
Yeah,
things.
stress
Mm-hmm.
does
So
it.
for me,
It puts some
but
in the
I
middle.
knew that low
Mhm.
carb always worked for me. So
Mhm.
that's what I fast. So I don't
Mhm.
eat till 11 o'clock, and I only eat
Mhm.
to between the hours of 11 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's it. Once 7 o'clock hit, usually I'm done before 7.
That's
Mm-hmm.
good.
And I don't eat any. I just can't. Now sometimes I'll carb load if I feel
Mhm.
like I'm stuck. What
Mhm.
carb loading means is I let myself have
Have a
carbs for a
day or
week.
so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I go back into it, and that usually will start my
And
weight
that's
back going
good.
down.
Mhm.
But and I also just realized I don't like the way that stuff make me feel when I eat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get it.
A lot
So
of it isn't even good anymore.
Mhm.
yeah.
And for me, you know, with weight, a lot of times, you know, for me,
Mhm.
up until recently, you know, my motivator was looking good, was more vanity,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
preparing for a trip,
Mhm.
getting into an outfit. That was
Mhm.
always my motivator, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
Um, but now for me, it's more of a health conscious
Health.
thing
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I've never been on any type of medication until just a few years ago. My
Mhm.
doctor said to me, she said, "Well, your cholesterol is right now is a B minus." So she said, "We're gonna go ahead and put you on some pills now because we don't want, you know, we don't want it to keep rising. We just, you know, we want it
Mhm.
to get better than that B minus."
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I mean, I literally cried because I'd never been on medication,
Mhm.
for my health wise. So but also you know, we talked about my weight and stuff, and I remember that time, you know, we were talking about my weight, and she said, "You want some pills for it?" And I was like, "Girl, yes." You know, so that shows you what my mom was like. I was sitting up crying about that medication for the cholesterol, but give me all the meds for the weight loss.
Yeah. And
But
after
Mhm.
you
she,
lose the weight, that should get in check as
yeah,
well.
but
Mhm.
You know.
I forget, it was a pill that I
Mhm.
tried. It didn't work.
Mhm.
I did the generic brand of Ozempic. That did not work for me.
Mhm.
Now, recently here, they put me on one, just being totally transparent. I guess I can say it is Zeppelin, and that has worked for me. You know, I know
Mhm.
people frown up on it and stuff, but I say do what works for you. Now, I
As
still
long as
do
you're
get,
changing your habits and
yeah, and
becoming healthy
that's where I
while
was
you're
going,
doing it.
and I am doing.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
have to do that.
Mhm.
Right.
Otherwise, because I
Because
don't want to be on it
you
for
don't
life.
want to be a lifer.
Yeah, I
And
don't
that's
want to
what's
be on it for
happening.
life.
Some
And I know
people
some
have
people.
settled for that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Some
I
people
don't
settle
want
for
to
that.
be on it for life. I have
Yeah.
set a
Yeah.
goal for when I want to get off of it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so there are things that while I'm on it that I am changing and that I am doing. Like I said, I like to work out. I like to do that.
Mhm.
So I do have to motivate myself a little more. Again, now that I'm in those 50s and stuff. But and I think because I've been doing the same thing for so long, like when I got the bike, that was exciting to me and I enjoy it. So just finding new things, that
Yeah,
that I like
that's
to
true.
See,
do.
I
You have
like
to be able
working
to
out
switch
on
it
the
up.
machines. I like
Mhm.
the machines.
And
So
see,
I go
I've
to
done that for
Planet
so
Fitness.
long. So
Yeah,
it's just,
I go to Planet Fitness. Not only
yeah.
that, it's entertaining the people that be in there.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
some
I go to
people like,
Planet Fitness
you know.
3,
Mhm.
at least 3. I want to get to 4, but I also bowl and practice bowling. So my
Mhm.
nutrition told me that actually counts as one of my workouts.
Okay.
So between the bowling and going to the gym, I'm at about 4 days a week doing something. And
That's good.
she wants me to walk the other 3 days.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
walking has been my, the thing
Go
that's
to.
been able to keep me on a level plate. Now, I did
Mhm.
gain quite a bit of weight the past few years, and I'm trying to get
Mhm.
back down to my normal. But having a dog to walk, that's been
Mhm.
my saving grace because I'm faithful to that. I'm loyal to walking my
Mhm.
dog. So,
That's
you
good.
know,
mhm.
hmm
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I just thought we talk about it because it's so important.
it is.
Such an important thing for us to get out and get our bodies moving. And I'll tell you what
Yeah.
my one of my biggest motivators is. And I don't tell many people, but for all my life I've heard, you just like your mom. You
Mm-hmm.
just like Bobby. You
Mhm.
look just like Bobby.
Mhm.
And I wanted to drive because mama did not drive. And
Mhm.
I was like, they ain't gonna say I'm not driving. So I
Uh-huh.
need to learn how to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
but the one thing about mama is she had a stroke at 58.
Mhm.
And that sticks out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that to be my story
Mhm.
because that took a lot from her when she had that.
Mhm.
That is a lot of my motivation is because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that for myself. I
Yeah.
don't want that for my family.
Right.
Mhm.
And
So
see, I don't think
that's a
that
big
mama
part of
was
my
was
motivation.
100% all her weight. I don't think that mom took her
Oh no, it's
medicines
health.
and
I'm
stuff.
saying health,
Yeah.
my overall
Right.
health.
Yeah.
But some of it had to do with even the heart
Mhm.
disease. And
Mhm.
I don't think that her doctor did a good enough job of
Mhm.
taking care of that. I think they took it too lightly. And that's why black women need to have a care team. That's why I have a cardiologist,
Me
not just
too.
a
I had
primary.
an echocardiogram a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago.
And I believe
Mhm.
every black woman should have a cardiologist, even if you're 100%
Yeah, I have
healthy.
one.
And you go every 5 years,
Mhm.
get yourself checked out because we are like number one with issues with heart
Yeah.
disease.
My
Mhm.
insurance fought it like everything. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
want me to have an echocardiogram. They didn't see a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
I go, I'm supposed to go every year and I was supposed to go every 5 years. And I was so glad I was doing so well. I'm gonna go every 5 years. And I went in there and that doctor said, see you next year. I said, no, you told me. Last
uh-uh.
time after we did all this, he said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have realized that when I tell my patients to come back in 5 years, they're in worse shape than they were when I
Mhm.
saw them.
Mm.
He
Wow.
said, if I see my patients every year and I stay on top of them, they stay in better shape.
Mhm.
So he said he no longer does that.
Mhm.
So he's
Mhm.
a good cardiologist. He does the test. He talks to me about, at one
Mhm.
point he was fine with my weight. Then he
Mhm.
finally said, okay, we need to get the rest of this weight off
Mhm.
because you're a little bit older now.
Mhm.
So every woman needs to have a care team.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a chiropractor. That's part of my
Mhm.
care team. I have a hematologist. That's
Yeah.
part of my care team.
Mhm.
So every person, every woman, every person needs to have a
Yeah.
care team
Take care of
that
themselves.
take care of their health and look at their overall health, not just
Mhm.
what your primary looks at.
Right. Now, I don't think mama had heart disease. She had AFib.
That's heart disease.
That's not heart disease. That was from a heart murmur.
That's heart. Anything dealing with your heart like that, that's heart disease.
They consider that heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I know that
Mm-hmm.
she had that. She had a heart murmur and it turned into AFib.
Right. AFib
I
is
never
that's
knew they
yeah,
considered that heart disease.
yeah, yeah.
That's something new that I've learned tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's something that you said that your motivator was that you did not want to be like mama in that, just in that regard, as far as health wise. I have
I
a
didn't want what happened to
to
her
her to have
to
you.
duplicate in me, because they said if you look at your parents' health,
Yeah, they
you can
kind
pretty
of.
much see.
Right.
Now that's all I'm talking about is health wise.
Right, I understand, but I was
Now
That's
I
what,
do have some things that mom had, like the
yeah. So that's
cholesterol and
why
high
I
blood
head
pressure.
off
So
those things now,
yeah.
so that I don't deal. And it's important to find good doctors who
Mhm.
really, because
Mhm.
some of these doctors don't care.
Don't care. A
Mm.
lot of them just want to get you on a pill. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
They get
That's why
paid
you
to
have
get
to
you
do
on
your
pills.
own research. You have to do your own
Mhm.
research for your own self. Ask questions. Ask for specific tests
Be
yourself.
your own advocate.
Now,
Mhm.
this is my first time having an African American primary, which I have
Mhm.
now that I'm here.
Mhm.
And she's
Okay.
young. I don't even think she's 40.
That's good.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Yeah.
very good.
but
My
she did
doctor's
some
my
blood work
doctor's
on
about
me.
39 too, and she's a female, but she's not
Mhm.
African
You know,
American.
I've got to the point I don't want my primary to be old.
Really?
Mm. Now, I don't mind if other doctors are, but my primary,
Mhm.
I don't want to get that letter from you. You retired.
Now, if I had to have a surgeon, I want it to be
Oh
somebody
yeah,
who's a little
I
bit
want the
advanced in
experience, but
age,
this
because
my
that
primary.
experience,
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
No, but I pointed out when you said how you did not want to
Mhm.
replicate mama, because
Right.
I have a very dear friend whose mother had a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And actually her father found her mother, laying on the
Mhm.
floor. And that was one of the things she said to me, because we were talking about working out
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and her working out. That was one of the things she said. She said, she just had a heart attack. I don't want to be like, I don't want that to
Right.
happen to me. So I thought,
Mhm.
I was like, it made me think of that conversation we had,
Mm-hmm.
how she literally said the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Because
you have
when
to
you
think
look
about
at,
that. Mhm.
things that happen in your family, I don't know if y'all
Mhm.
ever heard the saying, if you don't take Goliath's head off,
Mhm.
your son or your daughter gonna have to face it.
Mhm.
Mm.
So if I don't beat heart disease and all this other stuff and high blood pressure, then my son's got to go through it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
if they don't beat it, it keeps going. So somebody has to take the head off Goliath. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
somebody's got to change things so that we don't keep
Right.
dealing with the
See,
same thing in our family over and over.
I think
Right.
with having a heart murmur, I mean, it can happen, but I think that's
Mhm.
something that they usually find early on,
Yeah.
but I
But
think that it can develop too.
I
Hmm.
have a coworker whose husband, he had one that developed late in life,
Yeah, yeah,
and
and
they
Mhm.
went in and closed it.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think it can
Mhm.
develop later on, because I think my doctor said she said something about there might be a small murmur that I might have, but it wasn't anything to cause for
Yeah.
concern. So yeah,
Mhm.
I
But
guess
that's
that's why I
why you
said I
should
guess
just
it
send
can
it to the
develop.
cardiologist. You let the
Mhm.
cardiologist look at it and tell
But
you.
but they didn't see anything. They said that
Mm-hmm.
everything was good. So.
That's who you go with, the cardiologist.
Mhm.
Well, this
But
was a
yeah,
good.
health is. I mean, you can have all the money in the world, but if
Mhm.
you're sick and you can't enjoy your life, then it's not right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
everyone
You
needs
want
to
to have a
concentrate on that.
a life that's enjoyable, like you said. You want to be able
Mhm.
to enjoy your life.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
can.
Well, thank you, EM. That was a wonderful topic. All of
It
the
was.
topics tonight were great.
Mhm.
If I do say so myself. So, I guess we will start with Bo. Any
Mhm.
closing remarks?
Well, as always, thank you for joining our show. We hope that we were able to get your Monday started off in a positive direction. You can start
Mhm.
getting your health in shape, in order, and you can start, just thinking about some things that we talked about today. Just some things to jump your brain, and make you just think about things, and I hope that everybody have a blessed week and happy late resurrection Sunday.
It is Easter
EM.
Monday. Yeah.
Yeah.
EM.
Well, I always, like I said, want to have a topic that's helpful and gets people thinking about ways to have a better quality in their life. So, of
Mhm.
course, my topic was around health and getting out there, getting your body moving, exercising, and there's no better time to start than now. It's not a trend. It's not a fad. It should be our lifestyle. So let's get ourselves moving and head in the right direction. Enjoy the week.
And if you are catching our replay, we thank you for watching us from start to finish. Hop down in the comments and let us know what you think. And we are 3Ps in a podcast. Until next time, be blessed.
Be blessed.
Bye.
Bye.